Welcome back to Denver Stock Lab. If you are brand new to investing, if you have never bought a single share of stock in your entire life, and if the thought of reading a financial statement makes your head spin, you are in the exact right place. This channel is built for absolute beginners. You do not need a finance degree, you do not need a background in economics, and you do not need to know any complex mathematical equations. We are going to break everything down step by step using plain, everyday English. In our last episode, we covered beta and market volatility, showing you how to measure a stock's price swings compared to the broader market. We go one step deeper into the actual engine of a business to look at how much real money it is making. Let me start episode with a question that might sound a bit strange at first. Can a company be incredibly profitable on paper, yet still run completely out of usable cash and go bankrupt? The surprising answer is yes, absolutely. It happens to businesses of all sizes every single year. A company can report millions of dollars in earnings to the public, yet have a bank account that is totally empty. In this episode, we are going to solve that mystery by exploring a concept called free cash flow. Over the next few minutes, we will learn how to separate accounting profit from actual cash, understand what operating cash flow is, learn how to subtract capital spending correctly, and see how to compare different businesses using verified financial data. By the end of this video, you will be able to look at any public company, find this specific metric, and understand exactly how much cold, hard cash that business is generating to pay off debt, reward shareholders, or reinvest in its own growth. You will have a superpower that many casual investors completely overlook. Let us dive right into the core concept. The term we are mastering is free cash flow. To understand free cash flow, we first need to define what it actually is. In the simplest terms possible, free cash flow is the cash a company has left over after it pays for all of its daily operating expenses and puts aside the money needed to maintain or expand its physical assets, like buildings, machinery, and equipment. Think of it as the money that is truly free to be spent on other things, like paying dividends to investors, buying back shares of stock, paying down debt, or saving up for a rainy day. To make this stick, let us use a real-world analogy that we can all relate to: your personal household budget. Imagine you have a job, and your gross salary is your total revenue. After your employer takes out taxes, you receive your paycheck. This is like your base income. Now, you have to pay your daily living expenses. You buy groceries, you pay your electric bill, you buy gas for your car, and you pay for your internet subscription. In the corporate world, these daily costs are called operating expenses. But your expenses do not stop there. To keep your household running smoothly over the long term, you also have to make occasional big purchases. Your car might need a brand new transmission. The roof on your house might start leaking and need to be completely replaced. You might need to buy a new laptop because your old one stopped working. These are not daily expenses like groceries. They are major, long-term investments in physical things you need to keep living your life. In the corporate world, these major purchases are called capital expenditures, or capital spending for short. So, if you take your total paycheck, subtract your daily living expenses, and then also subtract the money you had to spend on that new roof and the car transmission, whatever money is left sitting in your savings account at the end of the month is your personal free cash flow. It is the money you can spend on a vacation, use to pay off your credit card debt, or invest in the stock market. It is cash that is completely unencumbered. Now, why is this different from accounting profit, which is often called net income? This is where beginners often get tripped up. Net income is an accounting calculation. It is put together by accountants using specific rules, and it includes things that are not actual cash transactions. For example, imagine you run a business making custom wooden tables. You build a beautiful table and sell it to a customer for $1,000. The customer takes the table home, but promises to pay you the $1,000 next month. Under standard accounting rules, you can write down that you made a profit of $1,000 because the sale is officially complete. Your net income goes up. But if you look inside your physical wallet, you do not have that $1,000 yet. You cannot use that promise to pay your utility bill. Another accounting concept is depreciation. Imagine you bought a large woodworking machine for $10,000, and it is expected to last for 10 years. Instead of showing a $10,000 expense in the very first year, accountants are allowed to spread that cost out, showing a $1,000 expense every year for 10 years. That $1,000 annual expense lowers your reported net income on paper, but you did not actually write a physical check for $1,000 this year. You paid the full $10,000 way back on day one. Because of these accounting rules, net income can be easily manipulated or can simply paint an unrealistic picture of a company's immediate financial health. Free cash flow, on the other hand, is much harder to fake. It tracks the actual movement of cash. It looks at the physical bank account of the company. It asks a very simple question. Did more cash come into the register than went out of the register? If a company has high net income but negative free cash flow over a long period, it means the business is reporting profits on paper but is actually bleeding real cash. Eventually, that cash shortage will catch up to them. To see how this works in the real world of stock market investing, let us look at a verified snapshot of some actual companies. We will compare 3 different setups using real data retrieved during our production. This will help you see how different business models handle cash. Our main stock reference for is Micron Technology Incorporated, which trades under the ticker symbol MU. Micron is a massive technology company that manufactures computer memory and data storage chips. Let us look at their numbers. According to our verified data, the operating cash flow for Micron Technology Incorporated is $51.4 billion. That is $51.4 billion. This is the raw cash that Micron generated just from its core business of making and selling memory chips, before taking into account their long-term investments. But remember, making microchips is an incredibly expensive business. You have to build massive, high-tech factories called fabrication plants, and you have to buy extremely advanced, multi-million-dollar machinery to print those tiny circuits onto silicon wafers. This requires massive capital spending. When we take that operating cash flow of $51.4 billion and subtract those huge capital expenditures, we find that the final free cash flow for Micron Technology Incorporated is $7.6 billion. That is $7.6 billion of pure, leftover cash. This is a great example of a capital-intensive business. They generate a staggering amount of cash from operations, but they also have to spend a massive portion of it just to keep their factories modern and competitive, leaving them with a smaller, but still very healthy, pool of free cash. Next, let us look at a completely different kind of financial instrument, the State Street SPDR S&P 500 ETF Trust, which trades under the ticker symbol SPY. If you are a beginner, you might know that an ETF is an exchange-traded fund. It is not an individual operating business like a chip maker. Instead, it is a basket of 500 different stocks bundled together into a single security. Because of this structural difference, when we look up the metrics, the free cash flow for this security displays as data not available. Our verified data notes that comparable verified free cash flow data is unavailable for SPY. This is a very important lesson for beginners. You cannot measure an investment fund using the same metrics you use to measure an operating business. An ETF does not own factories, it does not buy raw materials, and it does not have capital expenditures. Therefore, trying to calculate free cash flow for an ETF is like trying to measure the fuel efficiency of a bicycle. The comparison is simply unavailable because the underlying structure is completely different. Finally, let us look at another giant in the semiconductor space, NVIDIA Corporation, which trades under the ticker symbol NVIDIA. NVIDIA is famous for designing graphics processing units, or GPUs, which are used for gaming and artificial intelligence. Let us look at their numbers. According to our verified data, the operating cash flow for NVIDIA Corporation is $125.6 billion. That is $125.6 billion generated from their daily operations. When we subtract their capital expenditures, we find that the final free cash flow for NVIDIA Corporation is $46.3 billion. That is $46.3 billion of leftover cash. When you compare NVIDIA to Micron, you can see a fascinating difference in how their businesses operate. While both are in the chip industry, NVIDIA operates largely on a Fabless model, meaning they design the chips but outsource a lot of the heavy, expensive manufacturing to other companies. This allows them to keep a very large portion of their operating cash flow as free cash flow. As our verified insight summarizes, free cash flow is cash left after operating and capital needs. Accounting profit can differ. By looking at these 3 examples side by side, you can see exactly how to analyze these numbers. You look at how much cash comes in from daily operations, you look at how much cash has to be spent to maintain the business, and you look at what is left over. You can see that Micron has a lower free cash flow relative to its operating cash flow because of its heavy factory costs. NVIDIA has a massive pile of free cash flow, and an ETF like SPY has no such data because it is a basket of stocks rather than an operating company. You now have the exact framework to perform this analysis on any stock you encounter. Now that you understand the basic concept and have seen the real-world numbers, let us talk about a very common trap that catches many beginner investors off guard. The wrong approach, and the mistake that so many beginners make, is assuming that accounting profit or net income is identical to free cash flow. It is very easy to fall into this trap. A beginner might open up a financial news app, see a headline screaming that a company just reported record-breaking quarterly profits, and immediately buy the stock assuming the company is flush with cash. Let us tell a quick, relatable story to show how this mistake plays out in real life. Imagine a beginner investor named Sarah. Sarah finds a company that manufactures high-end electric bicycles. She looks at their income statement and sees that they reported a spectacular net income of $10 million this year. Sarah thinks, wow, they have $10 million in profit. They are doing amazing. I am going to buy their stock. But Sarah did not look at the cash flow statement. If she had, she would have discovered two critical problems. First, the bicycle company sold most of those bikes to retail stores on credit, meaning the stores have not actually paid the cash yet. Second, to keep up with demand, the company had to spend $15 million building a brand new assembly line and buying specialized robotic arms. So, while the accountants wrote down a profit of $10 million on paper, the company actually had more cash flowing out the door than coming in. A few months later, the company suddenly ran out of cash to pay its factory workers and had to take on a massive, high-interest loan just to keep the lights on. The stock price plummeted, and Sarah was left wondering how a profitable company could get into so much trouble. To avoid Sarah's mistake, you must take the right approach. When you are researching a company, you should follow 3 disciplined steps. First, start with the cash generated by operations. This is the raw cash flow from the company's daily business activities, and you can find it listed clearly on the cash flow statement. This tells you if the core business is actually functional and bringing in cash from customers. Second, identify the capital spending needed to sustain the business. Look for the line item called capital expenditures. Subtract this number from the operating cash flow to find your free cash flow. This tells you if the company is spending more than it can afford just to stay competitive. Third, do not just look at a single snapshot in time. Compare several periods, such as looking at the last 4 or 5 years, and read the filing notes. A company might have a single year of negative free cash flow because they built a massive new factory that will generate huge profits in the future. That is very different from a company that has negative free cash flow year after year because its business model is failing. As a professional pro tip, always use free cash flow as a research input, not a standalone buy or sell signal. No single metric can tell you whether a stock is a guaranteed winner or loser. Free cash flow is a vital piece of the puzzle, but it must be looked at alongside other metrics, the company's management team, and the overall industry landscape. To put this into practice, here is one simple, observable research check you can do without making any trading decisions. The next time you look up a stock online, find its financial tab, locate the cash flow statement, and compare the net income line to the free cash flow line over the last 3 years. If they are moving in opposite directions, that is your signal to slow down, ask questions, and research deeper. Let us summarize the 3 key points we learned to make sure this lesson stays with you. First, free cash flow is the actual, physical cash a company has left over after paying for its daily operations and its long-term investments in physical equipment. It is the real money that can be used to pay off debt, reward shareholders, or grow the business. Second, accounting profit, or net income, is not the same as cash. Net income includes non-cash items and accounting adjustments that can make a company look highly profitable on paper even if its bank account is empty. Third, different businesses have completely different cash flow profiles. Capital-intensive businesses like Micron Technology Incorporated must spend heavily on factories, while other models may retain more free cash flow, and investment products like the SPY ETF will show no free cash flow data at all. For your forward application, choose one stock you are interested in and research its capital expenditures over the past 3 years. Observe whether that spending is increasing or decreasing, and think about how that affects the company's leftover cash. One important reminder before you go: Everything on Denver Stock Lab is for educational purposes only. Investing is a deeply personal decision. Your goals, your timeline, and your risk tolerance are unique to you. Use what you learn here to study harder, ask smarter questions, and then make your own informed decisions. The work is yours to do, and that work is absolutely worth it. If you found this breakdown helpful, please subscribe to Denver Stock Lab for weekly market analysis and the next Stock 101 episode. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.